Alright, this is part 4, and I was explaining like pornography and how don't feed into it. Just because it seduces you the same way that food seduces you, and that's why I don't consume flesh. That's why I don't want anything to do with pornography. It's not that I don't like it, or not that I don't. It's not that I'm not seduced by it, because it very easily is seductive. I just don't want to have any part of it, so I don't want to feed into it, and it shouldn't really be on the internet. To be honest, it shouldn't be on the internet. And like all these adults pretending to be responsible, and all these parents pretending to be the parents that they aren't. Like, for you to be a parent, you have to be the parent that you are trying to that you are simulating or whatever. But don't be a parent that pretends like you're taking responsibility and you're not a part of the degradation that's actually going around. Like, I don't believe in that there's security. I don't feel secure. I don't even believe in that there's a lot of heroes. I don't think it's logical for there to be a lot of heroes, because their intelligence, for you to be a hero, you would have to be intelligent. But their intelligence would obviously let them know that something just ain't right at all. Like, if you think about it, like, there's so many things that have not been fixed yet. Alright? But why the hell do you take shit still? Alright? And all these other things are invented. You got computers already, but you're inventing all these other things before you're actually trying to solve, instead of solving what really actually needs to be solved in the first place. Alright? Why are you trying to entertain me with vampires if you don't even have any type of, like, you don't really have any information, you don't have any, like, tool or device or technology that's going to improve you in a way that improves your actual spiritual well-being? Which is like, how come I still have to take a crap? Like, this is a psychological problem, not just a freaking actual physical problem that naturally occurs, but it's a psychological problem. And you have so many psychological doctors that try to pretend, which should be illegal, matter of fact, because they're not solving anything, but what they're doing is they're really obvious. It's apparent that what they're doing is corrupt, and what they're doing is psychologically, socially engineering other people to thinking that that's the way it is. It's corrupt, but they're with me and they're not doing anything to me, so I guess we're apparently like the chosen ones and stuff like that. So I guess we're just gonna let it happen to these people that we don't even know, because we literally are socially engineered into thinking that they're crazy, manipulated. You're not the psychologist, so it's just like, don't you think that pornography would have a psychological effect on a person that's traumatic? Alright? Like PTSD, traumatic? Like, because, yeah, like, literally, because it does. And you don't do anything about it. None of the parents do anything about it. Which is why I don't trust the adults. I don't trust any of the adults. I don't trust them. I don't socialize with many of them, because they're not adults. They're spoiled, and they're conniving, and a lot of them are not really rich. They pretend to be rich because they get money, because they're bribed basically with something that makes them feel like they have a sense of security. Basically, that's a false sense of security, because if you don't have the security at all, then it's false. Alright, period. Alright, that means you have to add it up. That means nothing's okay. That means that if you can't go and simply go into a local greenhouse, library park, where there's just plants that are edible, that are growing, that people can go in and they can water to themselves, or the people that just go take care of it, like community service or whatever. Like, they're not doing community service, they're just doing something that is helpful, you know. Basically, that's taking responsibility, but people can go in there and they can hang out. All right, it can be like a park, you know. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't have one of those. I don't see why they wouldn't have like an actual library that has like a greenhouse in it, like greenhouses and like actual information that can help you in your actual life, like whatever you're doing, like whether you're trying to like get off the grid or something like that. Like, I don't see why you would have to read anything about getting off the grid when that should be like, when everybody should be trying to influence being off a grid in the first place. You shouldn't be on a grid where you have to pay for electricity, pay for water, and pay for an apartment, alright, after going to a job that you really don't want to go to. And getting a job is really hard and difficult to get anyways, until somebody finds where you should be working at instead of where you want to work at. I'm like, no, I don't fall for that shit. I don't do that staged shit where you're trying to put me in a staged event and trying to do some sort of like thing to where it's like you're an actor. I don't do that. So I'm not with that like that. Okay, so you need to back off of me, because I'm not playing. So I'm not the one. I'm just a regular individual that just wants to mind my own business. But when it comes down to it, it means that you're too much in my business, and I have to give my business away to let people know that people are really that conniving and they want to get all in your business. And they want to tell you what to do, and then they'll get mad because you don't want to be in a particular place at a particular time, like like they'll go like that, but they'll do it all like it's your fault or some shit, like you offended them somehow. I'm like, you couldn't be ever more slow, like you couldn't be as stupid as you are. I couldn't believe it, like how rude and selfish and just like and self-centered could you actually be? Like, do you know what you know how offensive you are, you know how rude you are? Do you know what like you really actually like affected inside of me? Do you know like what you actually like destroyed? Because when I was a kid, like I really liked hearing birds, and I like being chill. Like I would just like playing with the cats and like hearing the birds and being outside in the sunlight, just playing around like around the neighborhood, or just like doing weird stuff. And like I actually hung around like people that I knew that actually seemed like not fake. They didn't seem fake or anything, but like somewhere down the line, I believe something really happened to them. Like they got murdered. Like that's the only thing I can say about it, because they are not the same. Like they're definitely not. They're not there. And I'm trying to figure out what happened to them. I can't contact them. I don't know where they're at. And that's really weird. I'm like, even my sister, I'm like, why can't I talk to my sister? Like, and when she does talk to me, she talks all weird, like she's mad and rude at me. I'm like, it's just so random, because I don't know what happened. And this is before I was like males and females are supposed to dissociate. But all I'm saying is these females are extremely psychic as fuck too. Like, they see the future, alright? But not only that, they try to create a future for you. So basically, I like what I do is I try not to be too offensive to them. I don't want to have anything really to do with them either, and so I try not to afflict them or anything like that. Like, I don't want to offend them, but I don't think they should. I think we should separate, like, as in males should go this way and the females should go that way, like, kind of like that. Like, I'm not trying to be rude to females or anything like that, but there's something about them to me that actually seems extremely destructive, like, and offensive also. Like, some of them act very nice, some of them actually seem very nice and they actually do nice things, and I'm like as much shit as I think about the females, like, as much shit that I say about them, like, how can you be that nice? Because I know you know that I be saying that type of shit about females. How can you be that nice? But, like, it's just like, it's really weird how females are, because they'll act, sometimes they'll act extremely nice. They'll act extremely nice, but it's just like, the way that it was for me, it was, I don't know. I guess we weren't really seeing eye to eye, but I don't really think that is going to be really possible for me particularly. Maybe for another dude, but all I'm saying is that how I actually came into this life and what I knew from when I was a little thing to now, I'm very, like, offended. Like, I'm disgusted. Like, I don't know if there's any words for what it is, but it's like a life, like a life lesson of actual death. Like, it's so destructive. Like, what I find out, like, I mean, I was already offended by black people, and then later on I became offended by white people for some reason, like, even greater than what I was when I was younger. Like, how I used to be offended by black people, and I used to be really offended, like, because they used to, like, mess with me and they used to pick on me. They're like, I mean, I felt like black people were murderers back then. Like, even at my age, and they were the same age, I felt like they would murder me. Like literally, like, they would take my bike. Like, I got my bike stolen a whole bunch of times. A lot of weird shit. All right, and then white people became weird. Like, when I got older, white people became weird, and I was like, man, like, I don't really trust white people. I don't really trust black people. I don't really know who to trust anymore. And basically, the only people that I really knew, that I really hung out with, was females. Like, as in my sister and my sister's friends. I didn't really have a lot of male friends. Like, I did, and I like them, but I won't really mention them, because really, like, I don't know, like, as much weird shit has been happening already, like, they'll probably be mad, and they'll probably get mad of, like, well, like, all this and that, and, like, I have so many male friends, though, like, back then, but, like, it's who I was automatically, who influenced my life mainly, mostly, like, because I had a sister, I didn't have any brothers, and my sister hung out with girls, and I hung out with the girls that she hung out with, alright, like, would go and go inside of abandoned factories and abandoned buildings and abandoned houses, and we would play hide and seek in abandoned buildings and stuff like that are practically falling apart. And that's what we did back then. We would talk about aliens, we would talk about weird crap, dreams and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, like, something just got weird though, and they didn't like me anymore. So apparently I must be ugly or something, because that's they probably think I'm ugly. But anyways, or I'm not really smart or nothing. But I just realized something also, that even though I'm older than them, I'm younger than them. Like, I feel like they they are like 30 years in the future, and somehow I was frozen, and that's how I feel. I feel like I was frozen, and they just didn't give a fuck, and I was like, why don't you give a fuck that I was frozen? But she pretended to act like you're my, like, my best friend forever, and we were totally cool and we were tight like that. But I'm even starting to feel like that, like, everybody I knew, especially the females, were really thieves. Like, they came here to ruin me and take my soul. And not only that, but mainly females. That's what defied who I was back then. They defied me, and I felt like they created me for what I was then. And I felt like they might even tried they might have even tried to ruin me, like. But I don't like women, though. I don't like them. That's just how it is for me. Like, I don't trust them. I don't feel comfortable around them. And they use their looks to seduce you, and the looks is the only thing. Like, if they were males, I would not like them. So I just imagine that if you was a male, there'll be nothing attractive even about your personality. As good looking as you are, like, your personality is just dull. Like, I don't. Like, I might even act dull because I act dull, but that's how I act, because I don't, like, act like nobody. So, because that's why I'm really nothing, because I came from exact nothing. Like, nothing equals nothing. That's the beginning of the universe. So logically, it's illogical to be here and talk about anything logical. To talk about logic, reason. So you got to think about it. Sex. Think about how foul that is. And you got pain, but you can't stimulate yourself, like your mind, the way that you want it to, without somebody being there and being like, I don't want you to be stimulating your mind that way. Alright? And I'm telling you, this person does not even have to be physically there. They'll get inside of your mind, like, literally, and they don't like the things that you think, and they'll actually influence the technology around you to react a certain way. Alright? When you're thinking a particular type of thing, but, like, it's that fucking intrusive. It's very intrusive. And what I'm saying is, if you have this advanced technology and you have genitalia, think about how intrusive it's going to be. If you have a shithole, then think about your legs just being spread out on these things, and a fucking cloning facility. It's like completely open, and somebody that you know, somebody that is your soulmate, but they are separating you from your soulmate, but they're giving you visions of what's happening, and she's just shitting herself, like, pfft, squirting, shitting herself. Or if it's a little boy, he's like, mommy, mommy, and he's hanging as a girl or whatever it is, a creature, and just, like, molesting him, like, just like that, and he's like, and he's fucking, he just fucking shot himself, came himself, and then freaking sneezed. Shot himself, came himself, and then freaking sneezed. Again and again and again. And then they suffocate him. And then take it back off, and then suffocate him again, and then take it back off. That's just like what I was telling you when they're fucking those kids in the gymnasium. When they had the AK-47s up to the teacher's head, they went in the gymnasium and gathered everybody up into the fucking gymnasium. Closed the doors, and they said, this is what's happening. And was pointing the AK-47s at, like, all the teachers, at the kids, shot some of the dudes, and shot some of the dude teachers, and they was just so cold that they shot the ugly female teachers. They was just right on the spot. It was just like that cold. I was like, and it smelled when they made all the female students take all their clothes off. This was a middle school. It smelled like ass. It smelled like pussy. It's even smelled like dick in there. But it just smelled like ass, dick, and pussy. And it smelled like a bathroom. I don't know what kind of bathroom it smelled like. It didn't smell like a bathroom. And it smelled like a locker room. It smelled like a particular locker room, though. It was a weird smell. Like, it definitely, if you would consider it to be a locker room, but it didn't resemble the smell of a locker room or a bathroom. It smelled like something very, very, like, rare. It smelled rare. It was a very rare smell. But, just because I'm telling you, or whoever is listening to this, I'm saying this, I don't know who you are. You can be anybody, a fucking fucked up person, not fucked up person, or whatever. Like, it depends on what you think is fucked up. But there's a long way from this. All right. So it's pretty hard to be fucked up though. So because we're already fucked up, but I mean, whoever you are, just because I'm saying this doesn't mean that there's hope for you. It doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want, or everything is going to get better, or life is fantastic. Because life is not really okay. It's an accident. And what it really makes it even more of an accident is people who don't understand that it's an accident, and they make things worse for everybody else, and they have an extreme negative influence on people. Like, they're very rude. They're basically like bullies. They're bullies. And they're the selfish, self-centered type of bullies who want to be there when you're there, who want to run to the area when you're in a good spot, and they want to go there like, I'm with him and stuff like that, and blah blah. And those are the type of people that are practically literally parasites. And it's because their mind is at an adolescent state, but it's very annoying. But as old as you are, your mind should not be at that adolescent state. Alright, but it's probably because maybe there is actually fluoride in the faucet water. I wouldn't drink the faucet water. But maybe because they don't eat plant-based type of, like, they don't do like minerals or anything, or get plants, like actual plants, and consume plants or juice from plants or whatever, or grow their own plants, for the actual mind to stimulate neural cell growth, to stimulate the function of thinking more abstract and powerful thoughts. Because your mind is the main thing that holds your actual consciousness in its flesh. So it's the only thing that you should basically consider that you engineered, that you can associate with, because your imagination is not engineered by anybody beside yourself. Maybe if it's the influence of your body and what actually is like all your feelings and stuff that the body is associated with, that actually created your mind too. But at the same time, think about if you never had a body and you're just a head, and you're just like what am I, who am I, what do I live for? Then what would you live for then? You would only live to sleep. And when you go to sleep, you would anticipate it all the time, because you would want to go to sleep and dream about things that you couldn't do in actual reality. Right? Why do you have to dream about things that you can't do in actual reality? That is sad. If you can't do it in actual reality, but you have pain and murder, then what's the point? Right? If you can't do everything in this reality, if you might as well do everything in this reality. Since there's murder, since there's sex, you might as well do everything you want in this reality. Alright? But I'm not going to do that, because I don't feel like I can do that. And not only that, but why would I want to do that? Like, now it's just like, I see everything so vain. Like, I just want I want to be like, I don't know, it's just so depressing that I just want to leave it that way. I want to leave it to be, I don't want it to be depressing, but I felt like what is the point in satisfying myself sexually if everything is so depressing? I might as well just hurt a little bit more. And that extra hurt is just letting that that sexual thirst leave me. So I have to breathe it off. I have to take deep breaths in, like, and feel it just going away. Like all the thirsty thoughts about like really like attractive women who are very like sexually aroused. Like I have to like get that like out of me, because I don't think they understand. I don't think females understand how sexually attractive they really actually are. And they act like they understand. They're like, we understand, and we love you and stuff like that. And I basically feel like they're robots. Like I definitely know that they're not aware of something. Like they feel like, you know how like chickens are, and they be like nibbling on the ground. I'm like, there's something about you that is not aware of something, and I don't know what it like. It's like you're aware of every single thing, but there's something that you're missing that is vitally important to being an actual human being, or what I think being an actual human being is, which is like, well, being a male basically. But if being a human being is not being a female or a male, then what is it? But if being a male is not a female, then being a female is not a male. So what is a male and a female? What is that? What is that? What is the coexistence of a male and female? Like, why are they coexisting? Like, how exactly do they benefit each other if in the long run there's a lot more guys that are going to be hurt by what's going to happen in the future than females? Well, females are going to be extremely hurt because some of the guys didn't deserve what they deserved, or no, what actually they have, which is nothing. But they really got nothing either, and that's really sad too. But now they just chose not to want anything, whether they can get it or not. They're just like I'm so sad, I'm so depressed. Like, I don't care how hot that girl is, I don't care if she wants me to bone her or whatever. It's just not going to happen, because I found some type of sexual satisfaction in sadness. Like, there's a sadness that I can actually reach that's beyond sexuality. And it's so sad that it can't be described. It's like there like heaven is actually sad. Like there's no happy heaven. Like I felt like I reached a point to where like I'm better off without females, and I can be attracted to myself, and I can stimulate myself even as intense as sexually stimulating myself. But I can stimulate myself as equally as intense as sex, non-sexually. Like, and I'm not attracted to males at all. I'm not attracted to dudes. But I just realized that like I can do that. Like I don't want to be attracted to another dude. I don't want to be even attracted to females anymore, because females are not the same. They're not the same. I don't know why they're still here. I don't know why they coexist with us, because they make everything harder. And so I'm trying to explain, they make everything harder, and that is very true.